Welcome in to the 1-800-CALL-SAM studios here on the campus of Lawrence Technological University. Shout out to our friends at Alta, always helping us out with this show and everything we do. This is Hockey Time here on the State Champs Network and Local 4 Plus. Along with Mike Aviso, my name is Sean Belegian. Mike, some great action so far in the playoff. But boy, we got some big ones coming up.
These regional final matchups are what we asked for. Some of them are the quality of USA Arena, we could say.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Why don't we start in Division One? We have an update coming up in our final top 10 lists, all right? By the way, the voting stops on Monday. It's a little teaser for coming up later in the show. Let's go on the west side. It's been a wild season on the west side, to say the least. But I think a lot of people thought that these two teams might just be in this spot, and here they are, Mike.
I think these are the two picks. For Forest Hill Central, they're going to need Benny Milak to lead this offense. But more importantly, they need to stay out of the box. They had 6 penalties last game. Rockford's power play had 2 power play goals. You don't want to give them any more chances. And for Rockford, they're going to need Jonah Packard to continue to lead them in scoring.
And I really like this matchup. This one's going to be in Kalamazoo. Joe Ford and his staff have done such a great job with Cap City. And Jackson, what a year they've had. Look at their schedule. Look at some of the wins they had. This is one of those intriguing ones around the state this week, Mike.
Yeah, there's 2 forwards to watch in this matchup. For Cap City, it's Daniel Hansel. He had 2 goals last game. For Jackson, we talked about him last week, Brennan Forward. He had the hat trick last week. I think this game comes down to Sean Story.
It really is going to be a fantastic thing to see how that plays out. At the Dort up in Flint, Howell and Heartland, what more needs to be said? I mean, everybody has these two teams in the top 5. Some people have them in the top 3. Howell and Heartland get together. Familiarity, Battle of Livingston County. As always, it's going to be a dandy.
Yeah, I can't wait to get out with you to the rink and watch this one. For Howell, it's going to be about Luke Storm and that top line. Can they continue scoring with the matchups that they're going to have in this game? And for Heartland, who are they going to match up against them? I expect to see a lot of Max Bogatitis and Eli Sturos against them. But it's going to come down to one player. It's not about last year. It's not about how this season ended. But Vinny Sabala. This is a goaltender that can win this game.
I really like this matchup because Clarkston has become one of the usual suspects under Coach Breyer. And let me tell you something, Mike. It wasn't a banner season by Clarkston standards. However, what's most important is what happens at playoff time. If they can knock off Detroit Catholic Central, hey, all I'm saying is Clarkston is a team that has shown that they can play their best this time of year.
Yeah, I think everyone's got CC already past this game. You cannot look past Clarkston. For CC, we know they're going to run that depth at them, but their defense is really going to have to step up in this game. Clarkston had 38 shots last game. If CC gives up 38 shots to Clarkston, it's going to be a tough game for them to win. And for Clarkston, can Brady Damien have the game of his life in that?
We head to Bloomfield Hills. How about Utica? Lake Orion. This is an interesting matchup as well, Mike.
I don't think anyone had this one on their bingo card, Sean. No one at all. Utica upsets Troy. Lake Orion upsets Stony Creek. Oh, only 2 of the hottest teams in the state, right? For Utica, we're going to be watching Lucas Beals. He had 33 goals in the regular season. He had a hat trick in the win against Troy. For Lake Orion, this is really interesting, Sean. Jagger Kemper in net. He had 54 saves against Stony Creek. If you looked at his season stats, you'd probably gloss right over him. There wasn't anything standing out. But when I looked deeper, he had 30-plus saves 11 times this year, 40-plus saves 4 times this year, 50-plus saves twice. This is a goalie that can make some saves and win this game.
Ike has been one of the top stories all year long. We talked about him from our very first episode. We heard a lot of good things about this team. All they've done is back it up. Taking on Romeo at Suburban Ice in Macomb.
Yeah, we know who Eisenhower is going to be led by. It's Holmes in net and then Schlicke and Zelnick. But they can't get off to a slow start like they did against Acre Bay. For Romeo, it's going to be who's in net. They split the season all year. Are they going to go with Nathan Smith, or are they going to stay with Salvatore Praviti and his 39 saves against Chip Valley?
I love this portion of the Division I bracket. We'll just call it, for lack of a better term, the KLAA. portion. Northville, Brighton should be epic. Obviously, Ryan Ossenmacher's got one heck of a team. Kurt Kavisto, this is Brighton's time of year. This should be a dandy out in Novi.
Yeah, we've talked about these two teams all year and how similar they are. I think it's going to come down to which coach uses their bench the best, and then can Mironov and Ilgalski figure out how to get some offense going against Vince Walkup on defense and Reese Hutchinson in net.
Again, familiarity, huh? How about being, in essence, in the same school? Plymouth and Canton getting together. That should be a dandy.
With Canton, keep your eye on Will Shelley. He had 62 points in the regular season, 6 points in their last game, including 4 goals. For Plymouth, it's simple, Sean. Last game was the first time all year they won when giving up 4 goals. They got to get back to defense and limit the offensive chances.
Really looking forward to seeing how this all plays itself out. And by the way, this will be the first time of, I think a few times I'm going to say this. If you're interested in following along as things happen on Saturday, I've got something for you to do this Saturday. The whole crew is going to be together right here in the 1-800-CALL-SAM studio. We are doing the playoff edition of Score again. Yes, if you remember, we unveiled Score last year during hockey. I know football season took it to another level, but the first inaugural show was right here in this studio doing the recaps during the playoff. We'd love to have you. We're going to have live look-ins at different games. We're going to have correspondents out there. And, of course, we're going to have chatter between us and with you as well. So, once again, all across the State Chance Network, it's Score, 6 o'clock. The best thing is Chuck, our esteemed leader, I said, what time are we going to? 7:30? And he goes, whenever you want. I like whenever you want.
We like Chuck.
We're big fan of Chuck and big fan of whenever you want. So we're going to keep talking it. Let's move to Division II. Again, interesting year on the west side. I think we were all waiting to see how the cream rose to the top. On one side of the bracket, this is going to be played up in Muskegon. How about the Battle of Muskegon itself? Reith's Puffer taking on Mona Shores.
Yeah, for Reese Puffer, they got to keep that balanced scoring going. They had 3 goal scorers in their last game, but it's going to be Bear Van Dyke in net. Can he have another big game? Mona Shores, Eli Habitler, he led them in scoring last year. This year, shut out last game. They're going to need him to get on the score page if they're going to win.
Heck of a player, no doubt about that. Speaking of goaltenders, though, when you talk about Caledonia and Byron Center, you're talking about 2 of the best goalies in the state. 2 goalies, I might add, that are on our wall list. What a dandy this should be out in Hudsonville as Caledonia takes on Byron Center.
Yeah, I got to go to the Caledonia-Matawan game, and I got to tell you, what an environment that place is for the playoffs. So if you can get to this game, get there. But for Caledonia in that last game, it was Sam Hogue, it was Esh, Sova, and, I'll get this, Lewandowski. They were the best players on the ice that game, and they're going to have to be the best players on the ice again for them to get this win. For Byron Center, it was Quinn Saul, 5 saves in overtime that won this game. I just don't think Byron Center can get through this game without points from Kaminga, Dolce, and Goheen. They're going to have to score.
Hey, so much of a playoff run has to do with getting right at the right time. And Coach Givens, I remember talking to him early in the season. We talked to him when we were up in Traverse City, had to endure injuries all year long. Got his team back shortly before the playoffs, pulled off a big upset against Alpena. Traverse City Central and Midland-Dow, a team that we saw up in Marquette, Mike, this should be a dandy.
Absolutely. Like you said, January 9th, we did the TCC game. It was the first time all year that Coach Givens had a healthy lineup. I think they went 1-2 after that. Well, now they're on a 9-game win streak. They've got it figured out. And Carter Schlegel in net, we said it last week, we'll say it again. This is a kid that can not only win a game, he can get you to USA Arena. Dow, we really like them up in Marquette. They're also on a 5-game win streak. Keep an eye on their goalie, JP Saligar. 35 save shutout against Midland last week.
Hey, I'm going to tell you what, and you guys already know this, Flint Powers they are the favorite in Division II. There's no mistake about that, okay? But this is an intriguing one to me because how many times have we seen J.J. Bamberger and his Saginaw Heritage Hawk team find a way come playoff time? They have so many appearances down at USA Hockey Arena. But, Mike, let's face it, it's going to take a Herculean effort to knock off this machine from Flint Powers.
Said it. Powers is the favorite. This is not only their region to lose, I think this is their state title to lose. This is theirs if they can take it. For Heritage, they gave up a ton of shots during the year. They're going to have to figure out how to limit Powers' offensive chances. Maybe they can get under their skin and get them off their game.
Couple of good coaches getting together out at St. Clair Shores Civic Arena. The job that Coach Penning has done at RU, you can't put a price tag on that. Shout out to Coach Rajeski and St. Clair Shores as well. Mike, this should be a dandy out in St. Clair Shores.
Rochester's being led by their usual suspects, Nolan Heiser and Zach Brennan. For St. Clair Shores, this is another goalie thing, Sean. Who are they going to play? They got two goalies that could win this game. Are they going to go with Will Young, or do they stay with Tyler Janowicz, who had 35 saves last week?
Livonia Stevenson plays host to Ann Arbor Huron. Stevenson, a team that, in my opinion, Mike, flying under the radar a little bit. People forget they were this close to winning D2 last year. Jay Thompson's got the Spartans going.
Yeah, he's got them getting right at the right time, playoff time. We talked about Stevenson last week. He said it's going to have to be defense. They're going to have to limit the offensive chances. Well, they only gave up 8 shots. I think they did that. They're going to have to do it again against Huron. And Huron, will they get another big game out of their goalie, Keegan Dunn?
Great matchup. How about Dexter? Fantastic job at moving on. And the Cubbies from UAD Jesuit. This is an intriguing one in Allen Park.
Yeah, Dexter now 19 wins on the season. Keep an eye on Jeremy Schroeder. He had 75 points during the year, 2 goals in their last game. For UAD, can Carter Kogut have another big game to lead them to a victory?
Finally, in Division II, a couple of downriver, longtime foes. How about the Trojans from Trenton taking on the Wyandotte Roosevelt Bears?
Yeah, I said it last week. This is Trenton's region to win here, and I'm going to stick to that. But for Wyandotte, watch out for Cam Rowe. 7 points in their last game. And Eli Harrell, 53 goals on the season, 4 goals last game. That might be tough to go.
Of course, you guys, let me remind you again, what are you doing Saturday? Well, now I have plans for you. You are going to be locked in here on the State Champs Network and Local 4 Plus. We've got Score. We're going to be looking at all the action all around the state on Saturday. We're going to have instant reaction, live look-ins. We're probably going to have a feast here, too. That's how we roll here at the State Champs Network. But we cordially invite you to join us at 6 o'clock on Saturday as we look forward to what should be an outstanding weekend a week later at USA Hockey Arena.
Absolutely. If this is anything like last year, Sean, watching those games develop when we were on the Score was just unbelievable. So hopefully we can get some action like that, and we're going to get a good look at everyone that's going to be at USA Arena.
Now we move on to Division III, and we start in the UP. Oh, my goodness, you want to talk about a rivalry. You want to talk about a dandy. I wish I could be up at Michigan Tech for this one. Houghton taking on Calumet. Another chapter in what is an outstanding historical rivalry.
Yeah, we'll say this is a game that just looks and fits for, I don't know, USA Arena, but we're not going to go there. For Houghton, Arco, Millette, Gallstrand, that's who I thought the story was going to be in their last game. How about Brody Donnelly with the hat trick in that win? The key for Houghton in this game, though, is going to be defense. They're going to have to limit the offensive chances from Calumet. For Calumet, can their speed neutralize Houghton's offense? Can they get another big game out of Bo Jukery?
You know, another game that you could make that argument, Mike, two teams that might represent Division III proper, Escanaba and Marquette at Venerable Lakeview in Marquette.
Yeah, Escanaba. People say, Sean, you hear this all the time, secondary scoring is what you need in the playoffs. How about this? Brody Levesque, 3 goals all year. 3 goals in their last victory. How about that? A hat trick. Good job. Marquette, it's going to be a name, Sean. We said this on our drive to our games last night. Parker Nevenhoven. He is going to be the difference for Marquette.
Let's go to Cadillac. Hey, what a great story. The Bay Reps, their fantastic goaltender, Boynton Fisher. More on him in a minute. Taking on Petoskey, who, Mike, from the first show this year, we were talking about the Northmen. This will be a dandy.
Yeah, Bay Reps, great story this year. Petoskey, we've been talking about him all year. I wrote down one thing. This is going to be a goalie battle. Who you taking? Tyler Boynton Fisher or Nick Tim? 2 fantastic goalies that can win you a region.
Over in Tawas City, Big Rapids. I love those Big Rapid uniforms. Have I ever brought that up? Those are beautiful, beautiful uniforms. If you've seen the uniform and you know who I root for, you know the reference I'm making. Taking on FNV.
Big Rapids, a huge win against Bay City. Keep an eye on Wyatt Skira. He's got 5 points already in the playoffs. Now, FNV, it's a team I got to see up in Alpena. When I talked to their coach and I said, hey, who's someone I can keep an eye on? He's like, I really can't name one guy. I like the way everyone's playing. In this game, who I'm going to have an eye on is Tristan Pohl. He had 50 goals this season.
Shout out to Ivan Demidov while we're at it. Let's move on in Division 3 if we can. Mike, Lumen Christi is a team. They've been in our rankings. This is, as far as I'm concerned, a usual suspect with what they've done in the last few years. Speaking of usual suspects, the Pioneers are a team that always seem to be playing their best hockey this time of year, and you know they'd love nothing more than a return engagement to USA Hockey Arena.
Yeah, we talked about Lumen Christi last week. I called them a real good sleeper pick. We talked about Luke Dumont. He's leading them in offense, but it's Michael Palmer in net with back-to-back shutouts in the playoffs. Is that any good? All right, with the EGR, can Trevor Bird and Bryce Bjornsson pick up the offense and match that defense?
Orchard Lake St. Mary's and SLU is really intriguing to me. You and I got a chance to see SLU very early in the year because there was a buzz about them, and I think they backed up their buzz. What else can you say about Orchard Lake St. Mary's? They're the defending champion. They're probably the favorite again, but this one still intrigues.
Yeah, it's not can you stop Orchard Lake's offense, it's can you keep up with them. I think South Line has the offense to keep up with them. Their top two lines can score, but it's going to be up to their depth at defense, which I do like, and can Keegan Corpy make that one save he's going to have to make to win this game.
Let's move on to Wallace Ice Arena. How about Cranbrook taking on Liggett? Two teams that at various points in time of the year have been top 10 type teams. This will be a dandy.
Yeah, I got out to the Cranbrook game. I thought they looked real good. They shut down Luke Thick. Blake Tice looked solid in net. For Liggett, if they shut down Nick Gold like they shut down Luke Thick, it's going to be up to Luke Slanek. He was their best player in that De La Salle game. He's going to have to step it up.
What a great story all year Dearborn Divine Child has been. I had them ranked early on. Got a chance to see them early on. There's certainly some star power there. We saw them punch their ticket up Monday in Birmingham, Mike, taking on Riverview Gabriel Richard. And I'll tell you what, we watched that game as well. This is Ricky DeSantis type of year, okay? The way that team plays, and we've seen them make some trips and some long trips, if you will, including to USA Hockey Arena. This should be a fun one. 6 o'clock at Birmingham Ice Arena.
Yeah, I like Divine Child. They have real good individual skill, but if they're going to have success against Gabriel Richard, because the one-on-one game's not going to work with them, they're going to have to work off the puck, and they're going to have to move the puck to that open guy and get shots that way. For Gabriel Richard, they're going to have to do it Gabriel Richard way. They're going to have to get those pucks deep, win the puck battle, win the wall battle, cycle that puck to the net, get rebounds, and get traffic in front of the net if they're going to be successful.
So we're looking forward to all the action. Good luck to everybody still playing. There's no doubt about that. And again, I cordially invite you to join us on Saturday, 6 o'clock. It will be the playoff edition of Score. Yeah, we'll have the correspondence all over. We'll have the chat open for your comments. We'll be keeping up and keeping tabs on things in real time, and we'll be talking all about it with you. Looking forward to it, and a return trip to USA Hockey Arena where, gosh, I cannot believe it snuck up on us again. We're all going to be together next week, like literally next week at USA Hockey Arena.
Yeah, it was great. At the rink the other day, and we were making plans for what we're going to do Thursday, what we're going to do Friday, and can't wait for Saturday to say who's going to be in those finals. So there's a lot of games still to play, but we got an idea.
We have one more order of business to take care of before we get out of here. This is the time of year, and this is always difficult. We have to give our final top 10 lists, okay? The lists are going to be locked. Once you see this list, these lists are locked. Now, voting continues until Monday, so I cordially invite you to vote early, vote often. We say it all the time, but the online vote leader automatically goes into our Final Four. So next week, when we all convene at USA Hockey Arena, and a lot of the coaches that are part of our committee, when we all get together, the one thing that I tell each and every one of them is fill in the blank is automatically in our Final Four because of you, the online voters, and fill in the blank goaltender is automatically in our Final Four because of you, the online voters. So Mike, without further ado, why don't we start with our Player of the Year competition. Here's our final list right here. Thank you, Chuck. And I think you notice a new name on there. Congratulations to Mr. Dye from Catholic Central.
Yeah, Ryan Dye. This is a kid that's earned it. 25 assists, 34 points. He plays in all situations. He's CC's #1. You can put this kid out against any line in the state and not worry about it. Welcome to the list.
So that's our final list right there. No more changes. Nobody can come off, okay? We will whittle this down next week to a Final Four. Let me reiterate. One of the Final Four is the online vote getter. So vote early, vote often, get your guy in there. I'm not going to tell you who it is. I will just tell you this. The top of the voting at last check was about like this. So one of those guys is automatically going to be in our Final Four. The other guy, maybe he earns his way in, maybe he doesn't. That's what we leave up to you. So there's our final top 10 list. And without further ado, Chuck, drum roll please. Here is our final top 10 on the wall. And once again, if you've been following at home, there's a guy who's been going like this for a few weeks, and we couldn't ignore that knock anymore. Congratulations to Mr. Boynton Fisher.
Yeah, Tyler Boynton Fisher from the Bay Reps, 12 wins, a 1.62 goals against, a 9.29 save percentage. We've been talking about him for a couple of years, but like you said, the last couple of weeks he's really taken off. He's only given up 4 goals in his last 7 games, including 4 shutouts. Welcome to the list.
So same dynamic goes on with the wall as well. That's our final 10. We will whittle it down to 4 next week, but in reality, we're only taking 3 off of there because one of those guys will automatically go into our Final Four regardless of what the committee thinks. That's the power that you have. So go to the website, make sure you vote. And Chuck, one more time for posterity, we like to say this every week, so at the end of the year there's no complaints. And, well, what kind of criteria do you use? There's our criteria right there. So playoff success is a huge part of this. We have seen these competitions won and lost summarily by what has transpired at USA Hockey Arena. So there's the criteria. Just know this, the top 10 lists are locked now, okay? Next week, we'll tell you about our Final Fours. We'll give you the online vote leaders as well. And if they win, they're automatically in the Final Four. Hey, before we get out of here, special shout out to our buddy Chuck, as always. Mike, really looking forward to this Saturday. We had so much fun doing this last year. We said, why don't we just do it again this year? Score, 6 o'clock on Saturday. Make sure you join us.
Yeah, it's going to be a great day. I'm heading out to Flint for that final, and then I'm going to be coming right here to state champs because I know Chuck and Watson and these guys are going to have a feast for us, and then just to be able to review the games that happened and then watch it unfold in front of our eyes as we talk with some fans and me and you chit-chat.
Yep, no doubt about that. So join us 6 o'clock on Saturday. That will do it for another edition of Hockey Time. Thank you so much. We'll see you on Saturday. Until then, we'll see you at the rink.
State Champs Hockey Time is presented by Alta Equipment Company. Also brought to you by Lawrence Technological University. 1-800-CALL-SAM. The MHSAA and the Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association.